there's a lot of talk about the crisis of masculinity, and again, I don't think any of the illiberal ideology does us men any good. Um, in that every man I know my age, including myself, from our early teens, we were sexualized on abhorrent porn. And it's really weird how this goes on with the narrative, because some of the biggest porn addicts I know are also engaged in illiberalism, and how we're living in the era of consent, which is a good thing for a multitude of reasons. But meanwhile, if you go on any porn site, most of the porn is has very many undertones of rape and whatnot. So there's the neurology I'm not well versed enough on, but what it does to your brain is, yeah, I've read, I don't have a citation, is that the feedback loop is similar to a heroin addict's brain. And also, when it comes to actually engaging in sex, our minds have been so sexualized on this instance of viewership rather than participation. And if you just look at the rates of erectile dysfunction in people in their 20s relative to just a decade ago, that's something that deeply concerns me. I think the relationship between the sexes has splintered, and that's just one of many factors that isn't spoken about. And it has to do with third or fourth wave feminism and being sex positive. Like, how could you be against porn? And the other
Yeah.
thing I know is nearly everyone I grew up with, and we're from a very affluent area, is addicted to nicotine or marijuana or alcohol or maybe even pills. And I really don't know where we go from here. It's something that when I hear my parents speak, they had one or two burnouts from high school who got hooked on something, and everyone in the town knows them. I'm in one of the most affluent areas on the planet, and we have eighth graders overdosing on pills. That's new. And if
Yeah.
it's not new, it's only been going on in underprivileged areas. And no one seems to want to address these issues, politician or people themselves, because when I speak to other Gen Zers candidly about this, they'll make excuses for why porn isn't a bad thing. They'll make excuses for why constant substance use isn't a bad thing. And some of the brightest minds I know are doing acid on school nights and whatnot. And it's not that substance as a whole is bad. It's that the way it's at our fingertips, and
The relationship with it. Yeah.
yeah, because it's very
Yeah.
culturally influenced,
Mm-hmm.
particularly through things like SoundCloud rap and whatnot. And I think the discussions no one is having is around marijuana, because I'm a marijuana legalization advocate. I came to
Same.
school here partly because marijuana is legal here, but merely telling people that I'm in addiction recovery from marijuana, they kind of like, because we've been met with this. It went from being fully stigmatized to being looked at as a miracle plant that could never harm you. And
The reality is
I
probably somewhere in the middle,
yeah,
as most things are. Yeah.
Thank you for watching the Unity Now podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Please comment below and follow along at unitynowpodcast.com.